My name is Darren Joseph from HTJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify the sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today we have the honor and privilege of having another conversation with Mark. Mark, could you introduce yourself?
I'm an advisor to the entire financial industry on CRS, FATCA, and CARF, and I've advised the OECD and the EU Parliament and the EU Commission and the German government, etc. All this is on my website for anybody to look at.
Fantastic. What's the difference between the 8938 and some of the other forms we mentioned in passing? The 5471, the 8621, and 8865.
Look, my focus is on automatic exchange of information. So it's FATCA and it's direct related form like the 8938. But the other forms, 5471, 8621, 8865, those are not FATCA forms and they're filled in by US persons. You being a US lawyer helping US persons with their tax, I'll let you answer those three extraneous forms that are not directly related to FATCA.
You said it perfectly. The 8938 is a form that is FATCA related. It arose because of that legislation as a statement of foreign financial assets. The 5471, which is an information return of US persons with foreign companies. The 8621s, which would be for PFICs or passive foreign investment companies, and the 8865 for foreign partnerships. There's also an 8858, and there's some other form. Those forms predate FATCA. However, in the first page, on the lower section of the first page of the 8938, they ask about those forms. The reason why is, generally speaking, those are also considered by that broad definition that FATCA has of foreign financial assets. Those are also considered foreign financial assets. If they are below a certain threshold, the contents of those forms will be reportable on the 8938. If they exceed a certain threshold, and again, it's very nuanced, it's way too much to get into in this high-level conversation, then if it exceeds a certain threshold, it's reportable in its own form, and on the bottom part, on the 8938, you indicate that you provided additional information on those forms. That's where it there's a slight potential overlap. So again, the quick, short answer is if your foreign financial assets are below a certain threshold, the existence of the assets may be directly reportable on the 8938. If you're above a threshold, then you indicate on the 8938 that you have filed those other forms. And you indicate how many of those forms that you have filed as well. And what I tell people when they get flustered and they get frustrated with all these forms is that for the US government, it appears that what's more important is not really collecting money, it's collecting data. Data is gold for them. And hence, all these forms, which create a heavy compliance burden, they pay attention to these forms, and we know they pay specific attention because the penalties for not paying your taxes, yes, some penalties plus interest, but the penalty for not filing these forms, as we've touched on in other parts of this conversation, could be civil or criminal. That's how serious they take the provision of accurate and complete data. Again, if you're not too sure, you need to seek professional advice. And with that, Mark, thank you very much for the pleasure of your company and sharing your insights. And if someone wants to reach you, what's the best way to find you?
The best way is just to go to my website, which is co-ownershiptrust.com.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.